where we can focus in on this game and we can really see what's going to be going on with these teams, after this game, which I think it's a very interesting game. And I think that it's going to be a fun game to watch. So, with that, we are going to look at this game. Obviously, New Orleans travels to Kansas City to play the unbeaten Chiefs in prime time. New Orleans, having had the number one offense for the first couple weeks, really slowed down. They are still ranked the 11th, you know, ranked offense in the league, but they've drastically underperformed in recent games. So with that being said, I think that New Orleans is healthier than the Chiefs. But the thing that I'll say about them is that they've been playing some stout defenses, most notably at Atlanta, who they barely lost to, and then Philadelphia, where they played really well against their offense, but they were unable to score against that defense. Now, looking up at injuries this game, the New Orleans Saints are definitely banged up a little bit on some key positions that I do think are going to really affect this game, or at least the game plan that the Saints are going to run. So, Shane Lemieux is out, their center, and then Cesar Ruiz is also out, their right guard. And then Lucas Patrick is dealing with an injury. So, looking at this, the interior of the O line is weakened, clearly weakened. And they're going to have a lot of guys who are, not their traditional starters playing, which just doesn't help them against, a guy like Chris Jones. Obviously, Chris Jones doesn't seem to matter who guards him, but he just is relentless and he is a game changer. And with a guy like Derek Carr who isn't very good at running or escaping, they're going to have to lean on the run game, hope they can get something and scheme these runs away from Chris Jones. But then they're still going to have to deal with the likes of Karlaftis, Chanel, Nick Bolton. It just, to me, it looks like it's going to be very hard for the Saints to do anything offensively. I know that Kareem Hunt's a talented back and he's pretty good. I don't think he is what he once was. The only obviously the game this year that stands out is when he pummeled the Cowboys. But the Cowboys had a notoriously bad run defense. And this is a run defense with a Chiefs defense that is they're healthy. They only have a couple of injuries, but to me it's not guys that are like the glue of this defense. Looking at this, I expect, Karlaftis to have a good game, Chris Jones, and then, Nick Bolton and Leo Chenal, and I expect McDuffie to really be on Olave. And I think that Olave is going to have a tough night. I think that, like I said, I think that the Chiefs, they just match up incredibly well and they're a very well coached defense. So, that's my take, on that side of the ball. The other with the Saints versus the Chiefs defense. Sorry. Now looking at the other flip side, we have, Patrick Mahomes essentially having a bunch of makeshift weapons besides Kelsey, obviously, and Xavier Worthy being his top option. As we know, Xavier Worthy had quite a catch last week where he burned deep, and it just, it's really easy to get it to a guy like that. And obviously, the Chiefs have been missing a guy with that kind of speed that is just going to blow by guys and get an easy touchdown since Tyreek Hill. Marcus Valdes-Scantling kind of tried to fill that void the last couple of years, but I just don't really think that he was burning consistently deep, type of thing. But Xavier Worthy, I kind of expect him to have a great game here. I think that Andy Reid is going to dial up some things to get the ball to Worthy. And it's not necessarily going to be that he's going to be, trying to create mismatches and always send him deep. I think that they're really going to try and work on him doing some short route things similar to Rashee Rice, but not exactly because, Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, that a guy like Rashee Rice is special, and that to get Worthy up to speed on exactly everything, considering he's a rookie and that isn't his job, I don't think that they're gonna make it harder than it needs to be on him. I think they're gonna make it easy for him to not have to do much, but to just get the ball and let it fly. That is what I think is gonna be the prerogative of this Kansas City Chiefs offense. I think that they are going to run it with Kareem Hunt, who is a hard running back. And it doesn't look like, I mean, Carson Steele is now listed as the third running back on here. So maybe it was just a test, to see kind of how he would do. But, obviously he had that fumble last week, that almost cost, the Chiefs the game potentially, but they were able to weather it. And obviously, when you're playing the type of ball that the Chiefs are, where they're relying on their defense because their defense is what's healthy, and I mean, it's honestly what they did last year. The only difference is that guys aren't dropping passes as much, but you have a lot of guys injured in the passing game. Obviously, we haven't seen Hollywood Brown at all. He was injured in preseason. Rashee Rice, we know IR. Mecole Hardman is even banged up, and as we know, um, Isaiah Pacheco was kind of another one of those guys that was the spark plug. So looking at this, I expect Mahomes to maybe lean a good amount on Kelsey as well, but I expect them to kind of do a kind of maximum production type of game plan for a couple of their playmakers, those being Worthy and Kelsey. Obviously, with that, I think the Saints, their defense is nothing to, scoff at. There's nothing about their defense to me that is going to scream we're going to keel over against, against the Chiefs, especially with them as banged up as they are. Now maybe they would, not do as well if, they had their full arsenal, but obviously we don't know that. So or no, they know that they don't have their full arsenal. You look at this game, and I mean, Willie Gay is out. It's kind of a sad blow. Willie Gay is a good player, but everyone else, like Cameron Jordan, Marshawn Lattimore, Tyrann Mathieu playing against his former team, I'm sure he's going to kind of come up with some flair. Not that he doesn't always do that, but I'm sure he's going to come up with some flair. Demario Davis, a very sure tackler, to go and lay his hands on Hunt or whoever's running the football, because they don't have a speedster on Kansas City anymore, whether it's Pirine, Hunt, or the Gator Man. I think that, this defense is going to be maybe the difference. And Mahomes has been uncharacteristic this season, already throwing 5 picks. As we know, his first throw in the last game was, I wouldn't say the reason why Rashee Rice got injured, but Rashee Rice made a hell of a play that probably nobody expected, where he stripped the ball loose to potentially make the interception void, and then he collides with Mahomes. And Mahomes feels incredibly guilty because of it. But looking at this, I think that, they're really going to need Jordan and Granderson to do well and put pressure on Mahomes who has taken sacks this year at a higher clip than I think we're used to seeing. And I think that teams are getting to him a little bit more and doing a good job. He is still scrambling at some points just because, it's hard to contain a guy who's a smart runner like Mahomes because he doesn't rely on speed, even though he does run pretty quick in a funny way. But looking at this, I think with it being at Arrowhead and the Chiefs obviously knowing that you know, they can extend their undefeatedness with no other teams in the AFC being undefeated anymore, I think that they're going to take this game. I think the Saints could win. I kind of expect it to be a close game because I think both defenses are going to kind of dictate maybe who wins. And I don't want to fully count the Saints out. I think that, there's no way they rekindle that number one offense magic that they had the first 2 weeks. Not saying it was a fluke, but obviously, new offensive play caller, really utilizing the team. And then, I mean, Derek Carr looked a little bit more like Derek Carr these last 2 weeks. So looking at this, I think that the game is going to go to the Chiefs. And I think that they're going to win this game. I'm going to say I'm gonna say 24-23 final score. But if you guys liked the video, liked what I have recorded here, and if you could subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it as I'm posting normally 2 times a week. This week, a bonus because I've been really busy. A bonus third day essentially where I didn't post my Sunday predictions and then my Monday night football prediction on the same day. But usually it's always going to be Tuesday and Friday are the guaranteed days that I upload, and I would love it if you guys asked me to do like a specific like analysis, even if it was like a player or if you wanted to see me cover my own perspective on anything else in the league. I might talk about potential trade targets here soon because as we know, after this week, we've got, or even after, this video is live, we've essentially got less than 1 month until the trade deadline, which is on November 5th. But as always, I thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.